I'm going to give an update on my warranty issues with my Indian motorcycle. So I posted about how they took care of me on the battery, and when I was on the phone with them, they told me that the dealer had not submitted any warranty claims otherwise. And just to refresh, I had gone in for a 5K service. I had some notes I had made about things to check out. I'll see if I can share a picture of that list so you can see it here, and the technician made notes. And I said, well, the two things you have said, the front wheel sensor being ground up and the gas cap needs to be replaced. I'm not so sure, but those should be warranty things. I'm not so sure they both are accurate, but he said he would submit it to Indian. I called back the next day because some people in the forums had given me some feedback, particularly about the front wheel sensor. I called, got the same desk attendant who checked with the tech, told me they had diagnosed it correctly. They had submitted it to Polaris, and when I asked how long it's going to take, who knows? They've been taking a long time. They could take a long time, that's what it was. So 2 weeks goes by. I decided they ignored my text. They usually respond by text. I followed up once by text. They ignored it. So a few days later I followed up, which brings us to this week. Long story short, the owner calls and says that, that's right, I think I shared this on a video about how the owner called and I hadn't called him back yet. So long story short, he checked with the technician who said that he didn't file a warranty claim because the owner said he was going to do that he wanted to think about it and look into it, and he'd let us know. And that is not at all how that conversation went. Not at all how that conversation went. And what bothers me, and for all I know the dealer ends up watching these videos, I don't know, but I'm really trying to support these dealers. But what bothers me is, rather than apologizing, I get told that, well, you're talking to one technician, he's talking to 500 people who've brought in bikes. He can't remember every conversation that he's had. That's not my problem. It's like, that's why you take notes. That's why you take notes and put notes down and have a team effort. It's just, it's tough to be polite in response to something like that. I was trying to be understanding, but it's like, this is not my fault. And I feel like with each conversation, I'm made to feel a little bit like this is all my fault, that I didn't communicate right. The technician, you know, said that I was gonna, why would I say that I'm gonna look into filing the warranty claim myself, or that I'm gonna get another mechanic to look at it? Why would I say that? I would never say that. I did call back and the next day, because some of you in the comments and on my forum said, if the front wheel sensor is being ground down and hit, it's not going to work. And the owner basically said, well, it's not all ground down at once. It's still working until it's all the way ground down. And look, I know what you guys are going to say, that is BS, and I tend to agree, but there is no point in getting into a debate with this guy with it. It's just, I don't think this is what the problem is. You know, I've been feeling a little rubbing sensation every once in a blue moon. And I think it was more likely the brake calipers, and I asked them to check out what was ever rubbing. They said they couldn't duplicate it, which I get. Hey, that happens. I can't duplicate it either. I can't tell you exactly what I'm doing when it happens. So I got no problem with that. But they're the ones that told me that the front wheel sensor was being ground down. So you know, if that's what you're saying, but the odometer works, the speedometer works, the ABS brakes work. I don't see any signs of it, but the folks on the forums kind of led me to believe that if it's being ground down, it's not working. And the owner of this dealership was trying to tell me that, well, until it's all the way ground down, it's going to keep working. So, anyhow, that's the update. Oh, and also, the owner told me that these forums are not helpful. That people on forums are not helpful. That's the other thing. I just feel like every interaction is basically telling me how I and other people are a bunch of idiots, and corporate India, a bunch of idiots, and that we're all a bunch of dishonest people trying to take advantage of them. Which, oddly enough, is how I feel about them. Man, I think I told you one time I had a coupon to use at a dealership. They're an hour-and-a-half round trip. And I wanted to like order something and give them the coupon over the phone. And they were telling me no, I had to drive up there to give them the coupon code. They wouldn't take a photograph. Like, what is the magic of me coming in up there? And it's just a hassle. They ended up relenting after I told them that if I do that, I'm just going to keep driving and go to your competitor, another dealer or something. It's just... Then I had to hear the lecture about how dishonest customers try to use the same coupon code at different stores on the same day, and then when they submit the claim, they can't get reimbursed by Indian. So it's like, these dealerships are not close together. So if you're calling this multiple dealerships on the same day, every dealer around here is like 2 hours from each other, hour and a half from each other. Maybe one way, it's, I'd say, an hour and a half one way to get to the next dealer. Maybe a little shorter. This is not something where you're going down the road every 20 minutes to pick up a t-shirt that you got a discount on. I don't know. I just get tired of companies that make their policies based on the 1% of people that might have actually done something one time that I'm not sure I even believe. But the other thing is, it's like if you look in your records, when I was trying to do that transaction, you would see I've brought my bike up there a lot. They should have known me by then. It's like, just take a deep breath and think through what's reasonable. But nope. This is one of those days, man, where I could just keep riding. It's beautiful. All the smell of fresh cut grass out here. We cut ours too recently. You just smell all the hay that's going to be cut, and then you come by the next day and they've rolled it into squares or balls. Looks cool. You know, aside from these minor issues with this Indian, starting was not a minor issue. That oh, that's the other one other thing I want to mention. When I told this dealer that I had my list that I gave to the technician and I had the technician's notes on it that I could email it to him. No, he didn't want that. But one of the things was other riders is how I worded it. Other riders had told me that the fuel injectors might be leaking. And this guy declared that doesn't happen anymore. Now, I don't know exactly what that means, but without seeing my bike, he just declared it's not the fuel injectors. That doesn't happen anymore. And can you just see why I just find that and that's when he made the comment that the forums are not any good. So I don't know what to do with that information, but my issues have been more with the dealer rather than Indian directly. I've had a couple things with Indian directly that I've bought that, hey, this part looks like it might be off, I'm not sure, and they volunteer that they're going to send a replacement don't even bother returning what you have. And I'm like, I don't think I need that. And they did it anyway. I've had pretty good experience with Indian, and my Indian motorcycles I've had good experiences with. I really hope the dealer network keeps expanding, but I'm not optimistic about that, because you got to sell a lot more units to support having more dealers. I sure wish there was one closer to home. But I'm still a huge fan of the look of this bike and the feel of it. I actually don't know that there's anything wrong with this front wheel sensor. By the way, those unhelpful people on the forums, those guys on the forums have helped me tremendously. Now, there's always the guy that feels like he's got to lecture you on something that you're not even asking about. That bothers me. Stay on topic. But they've given me some instructions for how to double check the front wheel sensor and see if it's properly positioned. So I'm gonna do it. I haven't gotten around to it yet. There's a Norah Jones song of Take the Long Way Home. I think that's what I'm gonna be doing right now.